Hello and welcome to this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. On this week's presentation, we bring you highlights of the Agriculture Month programs for week ending October 15. We see that Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has been all across the country, engaging in one form or the other in issues and events that is designed to advance the interest of agriculture in Guyana and, of course, advance the interest of the stakeholders as well, our farmers and all of the partners that play a role in making this business of agriculture successful in whatever form it is. On this week's presentation, we will also bring you his presentation at the World Food Day celebration at the Albion Sports Complex ground. The opening ceremony was held this morning, and Minister Zulfikar Mustafa was there to deliver the feature address and later toured the exhibition booths there. Remember, this year's World Food Day celebration is also being held at the Albion Sports Complex ground, and they are hosting the Berbice Expo, so it's an exhibition within an exhibition, so to speak. So if you haven't gone down to Berbice Expo, you want to go tonight. I think there's one other night tomorrow. But the World Food Day exhibition was only for today. But you can still go see the exhibits there. It's on the northern end of the ground. The Ministry of Agriculture booths all in a row there. A lot of them are air conditioned, so comfort when you go in. So look out for the agriculture booths at this year's Berbice Expo. Of course, partake in everything agriculture. This presentation is produced in Berbice, and of course, I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. We will be back after these messages.
The Ministry of Agriculture invites you to join in celebration of Agriculture Month 2022, a month-long series of activities and events showcasing Guyana's development on the agriculture front under the theme Championing Food Security Through Innovation, Investment and Resilience. This year's celebration kicks off with an interfaith service in the compound of the Ministry of Agriculture on Monday, October 3. Highlights of Agriculture Month this year includes the open day activities featuring the various agencies of the Ministry of Agriculture, farmers' market days across the country, the commissioning of several agro-processing facilities, and a Women and Youth in Agriculture Symposium. There will also be the annual World Food Day celebrations on October 16, Agriculture Month 2022, under the theme Championing Food Security Through Innovation, Investment and Resilience. Visit the Ministry of Agriculture's Facebook page for a more detailed schedule of events. Here's an important notice. Do you know that it is illegal to import, store, distribute, sell, and purchase antibiotics without a license or prescription, as the case may be? According to the Antibiotic Act of 1952, owners of livestock and other animals are not permitted to purchase and use antibiotics unless prescribed by a veterinarian. It should be noted that the misuse of antibiotics could result in the development of resistance to the very antibiotic, which in turn will pose health risks to the animal and to humans. The GLDA advises that farmers should not administer antibiotics to animals unless prescribed by a veterinarian. Non-compliance with this act will result in fines and imprisonment. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture is warning members of the public that it is illegal to dump garbage of any kind near to or into drainage and irrigation waterways across the country. The NDIA, the agency tasked with the maintenance of drainage and irrigation in Guyana, has noted that there is an alarming increase in the incidence of garbage getting into DNI waterways and causing blockages in the first instance. But worse than that, the garbage that includes clothing, rotting carcasses, pieces of wood and metal gets past protective grills of the critical mobile and fixed pumps, resulting in damage to the pumps, which have to be taken out of service for repairs, placing communities at risk, especially during the rainy season. The Ministry of Agriculture notes that when this happens, millions have to be spent on repairs to the pumps and on clearing the canals of debris thrown there by irresponsible citizens. The ministry warns that rangers of the NDIA will be on the lookout for those engaging in this illegal practice. Persons caught will be made made to face the full force of the law. A message from the NDIA Ministry of Agriculture. Africanized bees are an aggressive species of honeybees. When provoked, they are known to attack humans and animals with deadly consequences. If you see a hive, do not disturb it, as this will result in the bees launching an attack. Loud noise will agitate the bees. If you accidentally discover yourself in close proximity to a hive, do not shout or use noisy machinery. Keep barking dogs away. Do not attempt to dislodge or destroy the bees. Contact a professional or GLDA for help on telephone number 220-6556-27. If the hive is disturbed, do not hesitate. Run away in a straight line as fast as possible and seek shelter. As you run away, do not flail your arms around or scream loudly. Pull your shirt or jersey up over your ears, nose, and mouth. Shield your eyes with your fingers. Never jump into a trench or other body of water after escaping the bees. Use an ATM card or other similar edged object to scrape any stingers off. Do not attempt to pinch them off with your fingers, as this will just pump more venom into your body. After the stingers are out, wash affected area with soap and water. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture. Agriculture Month 2022 is now halfway through, and Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has been crisscrossing the country talking about the plans for Guyana's agriculture sector and celebrating the achievements of the last 2 years. The week began Tuesday with the distribution of seeds and seedlings to the general public at the Ministry of Agriculture's head office at Regent and Shiv Chandapal Drive in Georgetown. The event attracted a large turnout of persons eager to capitalize on the opportunity to secure free seeds and seedlings, mainly fruits and coconuts, and to praise the ministry for the initiative. In brief remarks of the exercise, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said that although Guyana produces 60% of the food it consumes, government is working hard to have that number greatly increased.
We want Guyana to be more proactive. Today, our role in food security is very important. We have seen what happened over the last 2.5 years in terms of producing food around the world. We are very fortunate in Guyana that we are producing almost 60% of the food that we are consuming. But as a government, we are not satisfied with that. We want to produce more. That is why we are encouraging every citizen. You live in the urban area, you live in the rural areas. Let us work together to make Guyana once again the breadbasket of the Caribbean. Today, Guyana is leading the agri-food system. Places like Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, they are looking forward to Guyana for leadership. And we are giving that leadership. And we are working with CARICOM to reduce the food import bill of CARICOM by 25% by 2025. And if we have to do that, then Guyana has to play that leading role, not only in crop production, but we have to play that leading role in the all-round production, the all-round development in the agriculture sector. That is why, as Minister of Agriculture, I would like to see once again we start back the process where every household will have a kitchen garden, where every single piece of land we plant so that we can produce for our country and produce for the region. So today I want to thank you for coming out in your numbers. I know for a fact that many persons, I was just coming, and I saw a lot of public servants who I never thought of doing agriculture are interested to do agriculture today. That shows a great commitment for us as a people to move the agriculture sector forward. Remember also, we are competing with a more attractive sector, the oil and gas sector. But we have seen a renewed interest in this agriculture sector because of the programs that we have implemented, the programs of the government, and the leadership of His Excellency the President, that is leading our country, leading the food security agenda in CARICOM. So ladies and gentlemen, as Minister of Agriculture, I want to commend you. I want to thank you for being here. We will continue to lead our country. As I said, we will continue to lead not only domestically, but regionally, and we will be the agriculture and food security powerhouse in this region, CARICOM. So once again, I want to thank you. I will ask that every person who are here this afternoon receive seed or plants that they requested. Thank you very much.
Similar distribution exercises will be held across the country before the end of the year. On Wednesday, Minister Mustafa joined Prime Minister Brigadier retired Mark Anthony Phillips for a meeting with Qatar's Minister of State for Energy Affairs, Saeed Sherida Al-Kabi. Mr. Al-Kabi is also the current president and CEO of Qatar Energy, the state-owned corporation which operates all oil and gas activities, including exploration, production, refining, transport and storage in the state of Qatar. The meeting saw the two sides discussing areas of possible cooperation in several sectors of Guyana's economy. On Thursday, the Ministry of Agriculture partnered with the Ministry of Health in hosting a health fair that saw wide participation from both staff of the ministry and members of the public. The activity featured a range of services which included blood pressure testing, oral health checks, BMI testing, blood sugar testing, HIV/AIDS testing, as well as discussions on mental health and cancer, just to name a few. In a brief remark, Minister Mustafa stressed that good health has always been at the forefront of the government's efforts to develop the agriculture sector. On Friday, the Agriculture Minister joined His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali on the quarantine for the commissioning of the number 58 Farm to Market Road, which now means that an additional 50,000 acres of land will be opened up for various forms of agriculture. The work was executed by Guy America Construction Inc. under the Public Works Ministry and will provide farmers in the region with better access to their existing farmlands. Also included in the presidential team were Public Works Minister Juan Edgell and Honorable Deodat Indar. Early in the day, the President and team had held public meetings with residents of Belladrum and Cotton Tree on the west coast of Berbice, where residents were given the opportunity to engage on issues of concern to them. Also this past week, the Agriculture Minister and team from his ministry traveled to Hosororo in Region 1, Parima Waini, for the commissioning of another coconut seedling nursery, part of the decentralization of this service provided by the Hope Estate Industries Limited, an arm of the Ministry of Agriculture. Speaking at that event, Minister Mustafa spoke of the opportunities now available for coconut farmers and farmers in general.
This coconut nursery, you heard the benefit of coconut today. The world is looking back. One time we didn't recognize the importance of coconut. Today, the entire world is looking at the benefit and the importance of a coconut. You heard the Cardi representative talk about the money, the investment and the income. Moved from $8 to $10 million. But when you look at the coconut industry, it's not only for oil. The coconut industry, you can do all-round trade with it. You could make oil, you could use the fiber to do other things, the raw materials. You could use it for coconut water. The coconut water industry alone in this world is of $2.2 billion. Imagine that. All across the world you go. North America, the Caribbean, you see coconut water being bottled. Right? But we have to take advantage of those things. Because when you go to Barbados and you go to Trinidad and Tobago, or you go to North America in the United States or Canada, you see coconut coming from Thailand, coconut coming from Vietnam. Why we can't seize the opportunity? Because we have abundance of coconut in this country. We have a number of people who are exporting coconut. So let us take the advantage. Let us take up the challenge and use that so that we can develop the coconut industry in our country.
Minister Mustafa assured the residents of Region 1 that government is standing with farmers in every part of the country, providing support at every step of the way, including providing the markets for their produce.
And I want you, the farmers, to take advantage of what we are doing in Region 1. Because we know over the years, Region 1, as the chairman rightly said, that Region 1 also have fertile land, and you have to make use of those land. Today, more than ever, the government will work with you to find market for your produce. We know that's the #1 issue for you here in Region 1. So when you have enough, and when you produce large amount, you don't have market for them. Sometimes you dump it or you have to give away. So that will be the thing of the past. We will work with you to find market for your produce. Because what we are doing right now, we are working with all the member states in CARICOM. And all those barriers that used to exist, the non-tariff barriers, and let me break it up for you. They used to put certain conditions, certain rules, that for example our pine can go to Barbados, our tangerine and oranges cannot go to Trinidad and Tobago, our spices, turmeric, ginger and so can go to Jamaica. They put certain rules, you call it non-tariff barriers. Today all those non-tariff barriers are being removed. We are seeing places like Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname are coming to Guyana to ask for help to develop their agriculture sector. As I am speaking here today, officials from the Ministry of Agriculture are preparing shade houses to send to Barbados, shade houses to send to Trinidad and Tobago, coconut plant to send to Trinidad and Tobago, coconut plant to send to Barbados. We have root crops, things like yam, edo, sweet potato, all those things they are requesting from Guyana. Never in the history of CARICOM we have seen those kinds of requests coming to Guyana. So all of us should be proud. I was able to send a team to Barbados after I visited Barbados with the president, and we looked at certain project that Barbados want to do. We were able to send a technical team to help the Barbados government to start the production of brackish water shrimp. We are now we'll be sending another team to Trinidad and Tobago to start cultivation of aromatic rice. So those are big projects.
Soon after cutting the ribbon to symbolically commission the facility, the Agriculture Minister instructed that the cost for the seedlings be reduced by half for the farmers of the region as an incentive to get them started on expanding coconut cultivation there. The instructions were also relayed for a reduction in the cost of seedlings on offer at the Nari substation in Hossororo. Minister Mustafa and team also toured the black pepper cultivation and spice mill in the Nari compound, instructing that there be a ramping up of spice cultivation in the region, promising government support in ensuring that markets are found for every ounce of spice or other crop harvested. Finally, on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa was the guest speaker at the formal opening ceremony for the Food and Agriculture Organization's World Food Day celebrations at the Albion Sports Complex ground this morning. Minister Mustafa told those in attendance that as the world, and more so the CARICOM region, grapples with major challenges to food and nutrition security, Guyana must rise to the task of providing support to CARICOM and beyond, ensuring up food supplies through the advancement of agriculture in all its forms.
The government of Guyana therefore emphasizes the need for the increase in production, good agriculture practices, better nutrition, improved livelihood, and better life for all of us. In ensuring food security, there will be scope for sustainable employment opportunities for youth, women, and other vulnerable groups. This will both generate income and improve livelihoods. For food security should not stop at increasing production, but should be inclusive of increasing accessibility and improving nutrition for all Guyanese and all nationals in the Caribbean. The government of Guyana is working on creating the enabling environment for sustainable food systems, ensuring intergenerational equity, and encouraging the strengthening of local food production and consumption. Championing food security and leaving no one behind requires development beyond the traditional agriculture. It requires different actions from the business as usual. Exceptional times call for exceptional actions. Guyana's agriculture sector will be expanded, diversified, and modernized, and made resilient to be a competitive sector in Guyana and CARICOM. Only last Friday, at the launch of the Berbice Expo, His Excellency President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali outlined some pillars of development. As pillar 2, he said we want to position Guyana's food production and agriculture to be a leading supplier of food in the region of Latin America and the Caribbean. Therefore, the government of Guyana is implementing plans and projects to expand the agriculture sector to address the ongoing issues and needs on a local, regional, and international scale. Guyana is blessed with fertile land and adequate water supply to eliminate unnecessary food imports. There are many ongoing transformational projects to boost food security and reduce import, such as increased rice production by 25% by 2025, increased sugar production to 100,000 metric tons, open up new lands for cultivation, increase in Region 6. Recently, the commission of the number 58 road will see an increase of over 50,000 acres of arable land being made available to the farmers of Region 6. And the Kanchi project will see another 100,000 acres of new land open up to the people of Region 6. In Region 10, the government has spent approximately $1 billion to develop 47-kilometer access road construction to open up new lands for the development of the intermediate savanna for corn, cattle, and soybeans. Increased technology and modernization by 15%, 25% increase in agri-inputs distributed per year, planting material, breeding stocks, fingerling, agrochemical. And only yesterday we have received in the country, we have imported 60 Brahmin bulls to boost our stock in the agriculture and the cattle industry. Increase agricultural budget allocation from 5% to 10% of national budget. Increase allocation to the DNI sector. Cultivating 25,000 acres of corn and soya by 2025 so that we can produce all the livestock feed for the livestock industry. Expansion of the coconut industry. Since 2020, we have opened up almost 7 new nurseries across the country, and we have seen a tremendous increase in our coconut production. Strengthening the technical skill set within the sector, inclusive of agricultural extension system. 40% increase in youth farmers, and we have already started to see the result where a number of young people are today involved in agricultural activity. Through the Agricultural and Innovation Entrepreneurship Program initiative, uses shade house technology for high-value crops such as lettuce, carrot, cauliflower, and broccoli, and promoting a number of other young people in the agriculture sector. Black belly sheep production in collaboration with Barbados to create a CARICOM brand and replace import from countries like New Zealand and Australia. The Banami Pro and Prawns project to be here right here in Berbice regions 5 and 6 to benefit over 500 young people. The cage culture project focusing on increasing the production of tilapia and tambaqui. Establishing international standard beef and swine abattoirs right here in Berbice, Region 5, Rising Sun. We are building a state-of-the-art abattoir for beef production, and also we are doing a swine abattoir at the Garden of Eden. So Guyana is now modernizing its infrastructure, especially the agriculture sector. As the President rightly said last Friday, that for us to increase production, for us to set Guyana as the food capital of the Caribbean and Latin America, we have to modernize our infrastructure. And that is what the government has been doing over the last 2 years, modernizing the infrastructure in the agriculture sector.
World Food Day this year is being observed under the theme Leave No One Behind. Better production, better nutrition, better environment, a better life. The Ministry of Agriculture invites you to join in celebration of Agriculture Month 2022, a month-long series of activities and events showcasing Guyana's development on the agriculture front under the theme Championing Food Security Through Innovation, Investment and Resilience. This year's celebration kicks off with an interfaith service in the compound of the Ministry of Agriculture on Monday, October 3. Highlights of Agriculture Month this year includes the open day activities featuring the various agencies of the Ministry of Agriculture, farmers market days across the country, the commissioning of several agro-processing facilities, and a Women and Youth in Agriculture Symposium. There will also be the annual World Food Day celebrations on October 16, Agriculture Month 2022, under the theme Championing Food Security Through Innovation, Investment and Resilience. Visit the Ministry of Agriculture's Facebook page for a more detailed schedule of events. Here's an important notice. Do you know that it is illegal to import, store, distribute, sell, and purchase antibiotics without a license or prescription, as the case may be? According to the Antibiotic Act of 1952, owners of livestock and other animals are not permitted to purchase and use antibiotics unless prescribed by a veterinarian. It should be noted that the misuse of antibiotics could result in the development of resistance to the very antibiotic, which in turn will pose health risks to the animal and to humans. The GLDA advises that farmers should not administer antibiotics to animals unless prescribed by a veterinarian. Non-compliance with this act will result in fines and imprisonment. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture is warning members of the public that it is illegal to dump garbage of any kind near to or into drainage and irrigation waterways across the country. The NDIA, the agency tasked with the maintenance of drainage and irrigation in Guyana, has noted that there is an alarming increase in the incidence of garbage getting into DNI waterways and causing blockages in the first instance. But worse than that, the garbage that includes clothing, rotting carcasses, pieces of wood and metal gets past protective grills of the critical mobile and fixed pumps, resulting in damage to the pumps, which have to be taken out of service for repairs, placing communities at risk, especially during the rainy season. The Ministry of Agriculture notes that when this happens, millions have to be spent on repairs to the pumps and on clearing the canals of debris thrown there by irresponsible citizens. The ministry warns that rangers of the NDIA will be on the lookout for those engaging in this illegal practice. Persons caught will be made to face the full force of the law. A message from the NDIA Ministry of Agriculture.
Well, that's all the time we have on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holden, urging you to join us again next week, same time, same station, as we bring you yet another program of highlights of the week in agriculture. Until next time then, be good to yourselves and to each other.